Hey, y'all, gravity. Any day above ground, live it. Good morning to everybody that's seeing this live and everybody that's going to see it later. I just want to do this really quickly instead of doing a video because I kind of want to see the feedback live and in living color. So, as we know, one of Biden's core promises on the campaign trail was to forgive student loan debt. Now, me, I looked at it as number one, I ain't finna pay for nobody's student loan debt except my kids. Ain't no way I should be using my tax money to pay for somebody who went to school and can't pay for it. That's fucked up because I can't go up to somebody or the government and ask them to pay off my credit card debt because I can't pay for it. Or I'm not in a field where I'm able to pay for it myself. So I've always been against this. And what pissed me off most about him saying that was you can say whatever you want on the campaign trail, but you as voters, you should have held this man to the fire and said, how are you going to, how are you doing this? What is your plan? How does this affect me? Nobody asked that question. They just heard that and said, ooh, let me vote for him. You can go look this up. A lot of voters voted for him based on just this. SCOTUS said that was unconstitutional, but Biden said, I'm not going to go away. I'm going to figure this out. Well, folks, he came up with a different plan. So let's see what the plan is. What's up, Blacklight? Check out Blacklight's channel. He makes great content. So he unveiled this, I believe, on the 30th, but a lot of people started picking it up now. Tabernacle. A Biden plan cuts student loan payments from millions to zero. Will it be the next legal battle? Via the Associated Press. Headline already is misleading. It's already misleading. See, when you see the headline, you think, oh, he found a way to cut it. No, he didn't. But we're going to show you what the plan is. John Guillory, good morning. And sorry if I sound like this because I was in Tariq's space last night waiting to talk, and I just quickly talked and got out. But I think I finally got on around 2 a.m., so apologies. But let's read the article. Washington, AP. The Biden administration calls it a student loan safety net. Opponents call it a backdoor attempt to make college free, and it could be the next battleground in the legal fight over student loan relief. Starting this summer, millions of Americans with student loans will be able to enroll in the new repayment plan that offers some of the most lenient terms ever. Wait till you hear these terms. Interest won't pile up as long as borrowers make regular payments. Millions of people will have monthly payments reduced to zero. And in as little as 10 years, any remaining debt will be canceled. It's known as the SAVE plan, and although it was announced last year, it has mostly been overshadowed by President Joe Biden's proposal for mass student loan cancellation. But now, after the Supreme Court struck down Biden's forgiveness plan, the repayment option is taking center stage. Since the ruling, Biden has proposed an alternate approach to cancel debt and also shifted attention to the lesser-known initiative, calling it the most affordable repayment plan ever. The typical borrower who enrolls in the plan will save $1,000 a month, he said. Republicans have fought against the plan, saying it oversteps the president's authority. Senator Bill Cassidy, the ranking Republican on the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, called it, quote, deeply unfair to the 87% of Americans who don't have student loans. So what do y'all think of that so far? And make sure you answer the poll because I want to see the feedback later. Wow. I guess I really am still a little tired, but it's all good. Okay, cool. All right. Let's continue. The Congressional Budget Office previously estimated over the next decade the plan would cost $230 billion, which would be even higher now than the forgiveness plan now that the forgiveness plan has been struck down. Estimates from researchers at the University of Pennsylvania, his alma mater, put the cost up put the cost at up to 361 billion. Emboldened by the Supreme Court's decision on cancellation, some opponents say it's a matter of time before the repayment plan also faces a legal challenge. Here's what to know about the SAVE plan. What is an income-driven repayment plan? The U.S. Education Department offers several plans for repaying federal student loans. Under the standard plan, borrowers are charged a fixed monthly amount that ensures all their debt will be repaid after 10 years. But if borrowers have difficulty paying that amount, they can enroll in one of 4 plans that offer lower monthly payments based on income and family size. Those are known as income-driven repayment plans. Income-driven options have been offered for years and generally cap monthly payments at 10% of a borrower's discretionary income. If a borrower's earnings are low enough, their bill is reduced to zero. And after 20 or 25 years, any remaining debt gets erased. How's Biden's plan different? As part of his debt relief plan announced last year, Biden said his education department would create a new income-driven repayment plan that lowers payments even further. It became known as the SAVE plan, generally intended to replace existing income-driven plans. Borrowers will be able to apply later this summer, but some of the changes will be phased over time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Um, he's lying. There was something in there that I know y'all probably asking yourselves. You didn't. You're asking for something. You're asking the question. They didn't. They didn't explain it. What do you think that word is? Black Manda, hello. Kelly Goodman, hello. Jay Berg, good morning. What do you think they didn't touch on? There's a certain word, certain piece of this that they didn't touch on. That's right. They didn't touch on interest. You know, that pesky little word. They didn't touch on interest with this plan. It's quite funny that they didn't do that. Because I read an article the other day, family, and I want y'all to hear this. I read I read an article the other day. Did you know that this plan you won't get interest? I'm sorry. Under his plan, you won't have to pay for a year if you're accepted into the program. But your interest will still accrue. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They didn't tell y'all that part now, did they? Trying to find that article right now. It was on Yahoo. He Unless they said that was wrong, to know what I read. But unless that was wrong, that's what I read. I'm trying to see where it is. No, wait a minute. It was what? No payments. The interest accrued. Let's put that. Interest accrued. Let me see. Da, 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 da. Let me see. Was it this one? No, it wasn't this one. Here we go. Now, this is part of it. On Monday, a new student loan repayment plan process proposed by President Joe Biden came under scrutiny due to the potential for accruing interest, which could add thousands of dollars to the debt of millions of Americans. What happened? As part of Biden's backup relief proposal, the administration is attempting to help student debt holders manage the resumption of payments in October and the Supreme Court's rejection of broad debt forgiveness program, the Hill reports. The proposed on-ramp repayment plan allows financially distressed borrowers to delay payments from October 2023 to September 2024, so almost a year, without the threat of default or a declining credit score. However, unlike the current pause on student loans, interest will still accrue on these loans, creating a steeper climb for borrowers when they begin making payments again. So if you've ever had student loans, you know about deferment, and you know the interest don't stop. Shamika Gray, good morning. Just adding the Ellis a slave plan. Nice, I like that. Kelly Goodman. So after a year, it's going to be higher than before. Well, your first payment will be. So basically, let's just say, from the example I saw, they said if you had 20,000 of student loans and your principal was whatever it is, estimates are if you go into this plan for a year, your first payment is going to be whatever the principal is plus $1,500, which could be 2 or 3 times what your payment is. Well, maybe not even. What do y'all usually pay? About $300? So it could be 5 times the payment. So your first payment could be $1,800. Shit. Y'all, man. And they out here, family. They're out here praising this.
Would you stop doing that? Just stop.
Man. They don't get it. They don't get it. Wait, ain't that the one I just read? What happened to the article I just had? Here it is. Just so y'all think I'm not lying, here it is. Just so y'all think I'm not lying. Screenshot that and send that to your people who have student loans. This is a scam. I'm sorry. That's the way I'm looking at it. You're doing nothing that Navient and all these banks have been doing. You just want to consolidate it into the government. You want to cut the middleman. Screw you. Don't enter this program. I'm telling y'all that. This is just another step for eternal debt. Do not do this. Let's see. Experts are concerned that millions of Americans who relied on loan relief throughout the pandemic might be caught off guard by the new system. Jonathan Petz, co-founder of Upsolve, a nonprofit that crew could add an extra 1,500 to their total. Okay, so it was 30,000. Student loan expert Mark Kantrowitz advises borrowers capable of making payments to do so, stating, "You shouldn't say, 'Oh, I get another year of not having to pay my loan.' That would be making a mistake because it's not really providing financial relief." The development comes after the Supreme Court blocked Biden's plan to forgive $430 billion in student loan debt, a move that would have allowed eligible borrowers to cancel up to $20,000 in debt. The resumption of federal student loan repayments is projected to lead to an increase in delinquency rates, posing significant challenges to this market and potentially causing ripples in other debt categories, according to a Bank of America research note. With the uncertainty surrounding student loan forgiveness and the potential for accruing interest under the new repayment plan, borrowers are advised to come up with a debt reduction plan, focusing on monthly payments to trying to pay off as much debt as possible while loan payments are still paused can help reduce the total amount owed. And this was via Benzinga. Dominic, hello. You said, Brother Gravity, he can't forgive no student loans. He's trying. Remember, this was one of his campaign promises. He's trying. We know the answer to that.
Hey, yo.
Yes, it's all cap. You mad you bisexual sat right there and voted for this man on this. Are y'all serious right now? And y'all spending, okay, I'm sorry, family. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to be a little off code for a minute. I know this is gonna get me in trouble. I know. Yeah, y'all gonna leave the lava. Y'all gonna hate my guts for saying this. I get it. I get it, but it's got to be said, and I've said it before. But every time student loan debt forgiveness comes up, I just got to say it. Negroes. The way I would have done it, this is just me. Maybe we could have used the PPP loans to pay off our student loan debt. I'm just saying. That would have been a hell of a move. I just thought about that. What if black people who had student loan debt applied for a PPP loan and used it to pay off their student loans? That might have been fire. But enough about that. I got to say, I'm going to be a little off code for a minute. If you sat in this scamdemic for 3 years and didn't use that extra $600, or at least some of it, to pay off your student loans, or at least get the amount down a little bit, you're dumb. Just like I went in on people who got thrown out of their apartments because they didn't pay rent because they thought they were going to never have to pay rent again. Like they didn't think after a year that these landlords were going to ask for their rent. You're dumb. Again, y'all were running around getting PPP loans, buying up fucking Lamborghinis and expensive houses and taking trips and all this dumb shit. You could have used that to pay off your student loans if you had them. Or each one teach one. Some of you cocksuckers got millions. I get it. You're a scam artist. I get it. But that would have been the ultimate Robin Hood move. You could have paid off a couple people's student loans. How the hell would they have known? You could have wrote that off as a business expense. But I'm off code, whatever.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
I'm off code. It's all good. I don't. It's okay. Go ahead, Mr. T. Just tell me.
Now get out. Two of you are fucking up a nice day.
I know I'm off code, but this is things I think about. That cocksucker, that cocksucking Trump administration gave everybody extra $600. $600. I got myself out of credit card debt with that. Not even counting the $600. My wife and I still were able to pay rent with just what unemployment gave us. The extra $600 I used to get out of debt. And to make sure we had the supplies we needed. These idiots took it and used it and fucked it up. They probably went down to the Chinaman and were buying up bullshit they don't need. You could have paid your student loans. You know, dude, people, we got that money for 3 months. That's $7,200. Some of you Negroes don't pay that off in a year. You could have paid off $7,200 of your debt. And still were able to pay your rent. Okay, fine. You take half of it, $300, $3,600. You could have paid off a significant portion of your principal. But nah, y'all didn't want to do that. You heard Biden say, I want to forgive student loan debt. And y'all sat up there and said, I got to vote for this man. Don't ask no question. I got to vote for this man. Then y'all want to give me moral high ground when your man tell you, let's go rob this bank. You might as well have went to go rob the bank. This was the same man who said he wanted to forgive 50,000. Damn, I said his name.
Insult to my existence.
He wanted to give away $50,000 of your student, and them banks called him up and said, man, you don't get slapped. He was all like, come on, man, I want to help him. They cussed you out on the phone, Biden, and then when they hung up, they looked at each other on Zoom and said, bro, what you on? What? Then he said, okay, I want to do, what did he say, 20? I think he said 20. And y'all fell for it. So the man couldn't promise high, but you fell low. There you go. This is from money.com. Why hasn't Joe Biden forgiven all your student debt? Short answer, he never promised to. Let's see what they said. In town halls and in tweets across state lines and in televised events, President Joe Biden had a consistent message for student loan borrowers while he was campaigning. He was going to help lift the burden of student loans. In fact, offering some student loan forgiveness was a cornerstone of his campaign. Yet the details around what precisely Biden promised on loan forgiveness are often misunderstood, with borrowers frequently taking to social media to complain that their debts haven't yet been wiped out. Let's see what he said. And now that we're a year into his presidency, debt forgiveness has been absent from both the current situation relief bill passed in March 2021 and more recently legislative plans backed by the administration. Many are wondering whether borrowers will see widespread loan cancellation under the current administration at all. Now, mind you, this was early last year. Here's a look at what Biden actually said he wanted to do and what he has accomplished so far when it comes to providing student loan relief. Progressive Democrats, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Representative Alexandria, occasionally crazy, Ayanna, and Representative Ayanna Pressley have proposed a few ideas for helping student loan borrowers, some of which Biden publicly backed. Why am I saying blacked? I'm about to black out. While he was running for president, but Biden has never signed on to the more expansive calls from some progressives to eliminate all student debt or wipe out at least $50,000 per borrower. Again, he couldn't do it. That's the gist of it. He couldn't do it, and the banks would never let him do it. Instead, he has repeatedly said he's open to canceling up to $10,000 in federal student loans per borrower. We should forgive a minimum of $10,000 per person of federal student loans as proposed by Senator Warren and colleagues, Biden tweeted on March 22nd, 2020. Young people and other student debt holders bore the brunt of the last crisis. It shouldn't happen again. The following month, Biden published a piece on Medium outlining the policies he said he believed were necessary to help Americans during the coffee venereal disease, scamdemic, and beyond. One such policy included a proposal to, quote, immediately cancel a minimum of 10 grand of student debt per person. And at a town hall 1 month before the 2020 election, he doubled down on his goal to make sure everyone gets 10 grand knocked off of their student debt. Of course, this hasn't happened, but Michelle Domino, Education's senior policy advisor for national think tank Third Way, Lord have mercy. I think one day Blacklight and I are going to have to talk about Third Way. I hate Third Way, but we're not going to get into that today. That's like at least an hour. Let's see, where is it? Says Biden is still interested in pursuing some loan forgiveness through legislation. The problem, it's unlikely a bill to award widespread forgiveness would actually make it to Biden's desk given the current Congress. Even Democrats have varying stances on forgiveness. Quote, so if Congress were to bring a bill to his desk that proposed canceling 10 grand in debt, he's indicated he would sign it, Domino says, but it doesn't seem likely it would move in this Congress given the dynamics at play. The other option for approaching widespread student loan forgiveness is doing so through executive order. That's not a route that Biden has expressed much interest in pursuing or confidence that he has the legal authority to do it, Domino says, because he can't. For one, there isn't a clear legal consensus that he can, and his actions to date, namely the targeted approach to forgiveness for specific groups of borrowers, doesn't necessarily give the indication that he'd pursue executive action. So what exactly have those targeted efforts involved? So far, the Biden administration has canceled roughly $13 billion in student loans for over 600,000 borrowers. Yet the national debt is $1.75 trillion. But your infrastructure bill is $1.5 trillion. You sent billions to Ukraine, which you could have used to knock off some of this debt. But okay. That's more than any other president has done, Domino says. Here's how that breaks down. $7 billion in forgiveness for borrowers with a total and permanent disability. $2.4 billion discharged so far through improvements to the Public Service Loan Forgiveness or PSLF program. That number will increase as more borrowers qualify under new relaxed program rules. $1.5 billion to those who were defrauded and misled by their institutions through the Borrower Defense to Repayment program. It's probably for the people who went to school and couldn't get a job. $1.26 billion in discharges specifically to students who attended the now defunct ITT Technical Institute. In addition to canceling debt, Biden's Education Department issued a temporary waiver to relax the rules for public service loan forgiveness, which should help many borrowers qualify to have their loans discharged early. The administration has also extended the scamdemic era pause on federal student loans 3 times. It's now set to expire on May 1st. I don't want to read no more. Your man never promised. Your man. Bisexuals, get outside. Get outside. Explain your man.
Yo, look at the coos. Wow. Yo.
Y'all ran outside and danced on K Street when he won, and y'all had no backup plan. Y'all didn't ask no questions. This is what y'all get. Now, y'all probably still on social media screaming about student loan forgiveness. You dummies. Unbelievable. Look, you think I'm lying. Look at them. They're still complaining. Pull yourselves up by your intellectual bootstraps. Joe Biden gaslighting us about student loan debt to get votes. Pay attention to the date. Biden knew 2 years ago he didn't have the authority to cancel student loans. Look at him. Biden isn't forgiving student loan debt. He failed by design. While the Supreme Court struck down President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program last month, a separate and significant change to federal student loan system moving ahead, which is what we just discussed. Look at this one. Look, Biden can still cancel student loan debt. I need y'all to resist the notion that widespread debt relief is some emergency out of the blue thing that rarely happens. The Department of Education uses legal powers to modify and discharge federal debts all the time. He said 10 grand. People heard 10 grand and lost their minds. They started booty clapping right when they got to the polls. What? No, I'm sorry. They didn't booty clap. They voted for Biden and then started crumping. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. They heard 10 grand and they started crumping after they voted for him. And I'm looking at y'all. Are y'all serious? This is what they did in the street after voting for Biden. They started crumping. Now they're clumping and crumbling because they can't figure out how to pay off their debt that they accrued. All right. Joe Biden is against Medicare for all. Joe Biden is against student loan cancellation and living wage. Joe Biden supports aggressive and reckless warmongering against Russia and China. AOC and the squad vote Biden 2024. This is why I left the Democratic Party years ago. We don't care. Justice Kagan criticizes her conservative colleagues' decision to invalidate President Biden's student loan debt relief plan, saying the ruling was one of the court had no business deciding is a danger to democratic order. No, I'm not paying for this. Because of predatory interest rates, Americans owe $1.6 trillion in federal student loan debt, more than the GDP of Spain. President Biden must cancel student debt for working and middle-class Americans and pause until we make good on that promise. No. The Biden White House had 2 years with a liberal majority in Congress and decided to take action on student loans administratively. Even Speaker Pelosi admitted they didn't have the power to do that. It was a political stunt all along, and thankfully it was stopped last week. And it keeps going on and on and on and on. Yeah, screw y'all. But anyway, y'all, that was it. I just wanted to show y'all that. So take it to your people. Take it to your people. And make sure they're educated. Make sure they're educated. I'm going to get out of here and close my eyes for an hour. Hopefully I don't oversleep and get to work late. But I thank y'all for coming in. I know this was impromptu, but I just needed to do it. Take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agitators of peace come to mess up your existence.